All right, here we are again, folks. We're going to look at some different things in PH Tidbits today. We're going to look at perpetual. The word perpetual means ongoing. Have you ever knocked a glass over and it start rolling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? That's called perpetual motion. Sometimes you'll see something that gets in perpetual motion, and they make perpetual motion things today that like the balls that you drop and they just click and they go back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes perpetual motion will just be temporary, and it will go perpetually for temporary and then it'll slow down and even quit. Perpetual motion that's proper would be like a clock tick-tocking, tick-tock, tick-tock. The pendulum swinging back and forth, and even then most pendulums are spring-loaded, so that as they tick, then a little wheel that's spring-loaded goes click and just helps that pendulum just a hair, and it helps that pendulum swing on its axis, and as it swings on its axis, it's perpetually doing that. That's the way man's body works. It works perpetually. The calls of God are perpetual callings. You are to hinge yourself on the faith of God, and perpetually you're supposed to grow daily spiritually. Perpetually, all the way through, you're supposed to grow. Now we see Adam, if you please, is the second man on the earth after, Noah, is the second man after Adam on the earth to start out again. Now Adam was the one that started it. Noah is the second one to start it again, because all other men have been destroyed except Noah and his boys, and after the flood. Now the dispensation of human government after the flood, and Noah came on the earth, and then you start human government. Now human government is man governing himself on the earth. Man's not going to govern the animals. God gave the animals their own government, and they've not strayed from it. They don't politically fight with each other about what they're doing. The lion has domain, and he knows he has domain. The lion doesn't have to bite you. All he has to do is roar. And when he roars, everybody pays attention. As much as 25 to 30 miles away, the roar of a lion says, "Hey, I am king of the beast." And the old lion, he really doesn't have to do anything. Those Mrs. Lions, the lionesses, they go out and they do the killing, and they bring the meat down and everything, and then they call the lion in. He comes in and they step back, and he goes ahead and gets his fill, and then they can have what's left after they got it ready for them. All right, let's see. Perpetual motion. There are many things that we see in chapter 8. God remembered Noah and every living thing. Now Noah's in the ark. God was in the ark with him when he left. Now God said to him in 6 and 21, there were 33 acts that God did for Noah. God said, that's the first thing he did. Then he saw. After he saw what he said come to fruition, come true, start being. And then he was grieved. God was grieved with the earth and what was happening. He determined to go ahead and destroy it, but then a paraphrase thing would be, he saw Noah righteous in his eyes, and so he said, I'm going to take Noah. That was in 6 and 7. And then he was gracious. Noah was gracious. Noah fellowshiped with God, and God fellowshiped with 6 and 9 says God fellowshiped with Noah back in chapter 6 and 9. And then God looked, and God's still looking. He hasn't quit looking. He is still looking for the righteous man on the earth. He always has looked for the righteous man, and he still is. Now, God made a discovery in the middle of a wicked and perverse generation. And that discovery was Noah. For some reason, God had turned his head from the earth for a small period of time, and then when he looked back, he said, surely man would do like the ant. Surely man would do like the squirrel. Surely man would do like the lions and the tigers. Surely man would follow what I set out for him to do, but man didn't. God had commanded. God had made a plan. God had made a covenant. He had saved the lives of the basis of righteousness. Now, only lives that are ever been saved in the Bible anywhere from Genesis 1 to Revelation 22 are those that are saved in righteousness. Through the grace of God, he made this thing called righteousness. That's serving God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. Man is triune. He's a body. That's what the devil attacks. He's a spirit and he's a soul. And the devil tries to defraud your spirit and get your soul. But he can't do it if you're righteous in the eyes of God. Where do you get righteous in the eyes of God? When you ask Jesus to save you, you get righteous in the heart. Now, we got a battle. Once our heart gets righteous, we have a battle with this old body. This body is not righteous, never will be righteous, and as long as we're in it, we will have a battle with it. Now, let's see some of the other things in the 33 facts about God and Noah. God exercised foresight with Noah. He told Noah what was going to happen. He told Noah to build the ark. He told him it was going to rain. He told him he was going to bring the animals in. He told him to bring the food in for each one of the animals. By the way, do you see the work that was set before Adam for 1 year and 18 days? There was work set before Adam and his family. And by the way, that was the beginning of a workforce that should still today be in force just like the ants. When Adam got off the ark, his day's work was not done because he got off the ark where they had fed the animals and everything. His day's work had just begun. First thing he had to do was build an altar. Second thing he had to do was slay that seventh of each one of those animals, the clean ones, and offer them as a sacrifice to the living God that required the first fruits of the new earth. You say the new earth? What do you mean new earth, Brother Peter? There was a new earth. Once you solidify, the word solidify, the mountains melted, the things melted into the earth. You solidify something. You put it under water for 300 days, and it's going to be solidified. And that's why that the earth was turned inside out. These scientists today that are saying, well, we're finding this stuff and that stuff and this stuff. Yes, it's called compact. It's called pressure. You put the water 15 furlongs above the highest mountain on this earth, completely covered again. The pressure from that water would give the land the effect that it was millions of years old from the pressure that was put on it. It was turned inside out, if you please. If you take a coring machine and core down a mile and pull it up, it looks like the ages were millions of years ago. But in fact, it was just back in Noah's flood when the compression from 15 furlongs above the earth, calculate the weight, the pressure that's at the bottom of the ocean now, and imagine the pressure that was on the earth then. And then the earth was softened by the water, meaning that it was turmoiling like this. And the vegetation, the animals, and everything was on the earth was going back down into the earth. It was sinking down from the pressure. And I tell you what you do. Go out there and hunt for a ship that sank just 100 years ago and see how far in the mud it is. See you next